Dexter Original Sin, Episode 7, titled The Big Bad Body Problem. And this episode, as well done this episode is, it's focusing on two aspects of things. We got the main story, which is dealing with we got Nikki. We got Captain Spencer's son is missing. He has been captured by the guy who captured and killed the judge's son, and we're all like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And we finally find out who. And it's the journey of finding out who that person is. And I'm like, that is... When that reveal happened, I was like, I now need to know more questions. I have more questions than answers. And hopefully you can do that in let's say in 3 hours. Hopefully you can do it in 3 hours, explaining why the certain character is now that person. Because naturally I was like, look at the casting list, see who's the special guest stars, or sneaking through the Dexter lore. I'm thinking maybe it's Trinity Killer, but that doesn't really make sense because Trinity Killer wouldn't wear, well maybe did, but wore like an old black suit. Also, I thought maybe, I went through like deep cut references to the original show. I thought it was it Dave Donovan. That's the victim's name. Dave Donovan, who's the first victim that we saw of Dexter killing in the original show. I thought maybe it was an early version of him. For a second, do like the deepest deep cuts in the world. But that's not the case. It's this other character, and I went, holy shit on it. And it got the reaction that you wanted, because how they reacted it out through the entire show to that point made me believe that they weren't that person, and now they are that person. And you just go, I'm trying to tiptoe because I'm trying not to spoil that bigger moment. Like, I'm probably going to spoil other aspects of the show, but I don't want to spoil the big reveal of who is the person who's kidnapping these children, who's chopping their fingers off and killing them in in a couple of weeks. And I don't want to reveal that, who's going to be on the who is Dexter going to kill by the end of the show, that type of thing. But the rest of it is great. The rest of it is great. Even the high school stuff is great, where Deb is being a rational human being, and this is when I say, Deb was being a rational human being, explaining this situation to a friend, because Dexter was at a crime scene. He's on a fucking crime scene, but a crime scene nonetheless. And he keeps getting page and page and page, and he can't read page, so he doesn't know 1045 means blah blah blah. So it's that whole thing. But because he's being on a crime scene in the middle of the night, his girlfriend is saying where the fuck are you? Where are you? Why are you not answering my calls? Why aren't you? What's going on here? Blah, 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 blah. And the moment he's like, girl, I was at a crime scene. And then she actually sees a condom wrapper and thinking, you're cheating on me? And he's like, I'm at a crime scene. And he's like, at the swamp? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, at a swamp. I would be shocked. There's a bunch of people who will use the swamp as a love nest. Also, if I was Dexter, you can kind of, knowing you have a co-worker like Asuka, you can kind of point the finger at him. You can, bullshit a little bit. You can bullshit a little bit and say, well, I got this co-worker, he's a bit of a horn dog. He's probably sneakily use my car as a fucking as a bed, to have sex with it. That's probably what I would do just bullshit that it was the horny co-worker. That's why, blame it all on the Suka. But Deb is trying to explain to her friend that Dexter is not a cheater. He's just oblivious to how dating works and girls, and he's not good reading signs. Welcome to the club, Dex. And signs, and he doesn't know how to read a page. Like, he's like, what LOL is? What happens to words? What happens to words? And the more that Deb is trying to be logical, the more it goes south. And the more it goes south, I'm like, thank fuck I never had the high school partner when I was in high school. Cause I'm like, fucking hell, this would be the shit. If this was the shit I would have to deal with. Whoo! Yay! I would be like, fuck off. All I would say is, thank God, Deb punched that girl in the nose. All I would say, that was one hell of a punch. One hell of a punch. Now, also in this episode, we also witness more flashbacks. Sounds like we are hinting to Laura's demise, because we get dates now. Now it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh, they know about her kids. And they name them Brian and Dexter. It's becoming like, okay, they know a lot, at least a good chunk of information that to stare her, applying that if you mess with us, we know where you live, we know about your kids, and to prove it, we're going to tell you. And it's a quite a versatile way to have a meeting, like he explains why, this crime boss who's like does apparently 100 laps a day, because Jesus Christ, is asking her to strip off her clothes just so they can have a conversation in the pool. So already there's a sense of dirtiness towards this guy, and even though he's like talking normally and talking about business transactions and all that, it's all I will say is, like, the last episode I believe is called Born This Way. Whew, that's all I will say. It's the moment we all dreading, right? Like, there could be a point where, because we only get like normally it's all Harry with the flashbacks, but this is the first time we see through Laura's point of view. If we see Laura's point of view of the shipping container, it's gonna be a horror show. It's going to be a horror show. But I will say this, like, I don't know how the ratings are, but because I haven't revealed it. But if Witchell Sin does well, and apparently they're developing the Trinity Killer spin-off, I wouldn't mind seeing an Ice Truck Killer spin-off. Like, just be like, what does how did Brian learn that he was able to kill people? Why did, basically it's like see a version of Dexter without the moral compass. Where it'll be so interesting to see a Dexter who didn't had Harry and Deb and the code, and using the Ice Truck Killer as a way to do it. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, so he's bringing up. Because the weird thing about anything Brian shows up in the show, they do try to do a little bit of the mysterious evilness, they're hinting the whole you know who he is kind of mindset, which sucks because they're doing the whole look at this evil person, but he's like 4. Yeah, but he's gonna be, killing people when he's adult. Yeah, I know. But still, at this point, he isn't that yet. Anyway. Now, the final thing to talk about is the humanness of Dexter trying to figure out how to get Will a body because he doesn't have a boat. Even though there's a certain person who keeps saying, I have a boat. The file girl, or the file lady, keeps saying, I have a boat. 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 Use the boat. But Dexter is trying his way to figure out how to get rid of like the new body high in place. And I'm thinking John Wayne Gacy, him looking at other serial killers. I'm like, Dexter, this is not good. Don't look at your fellow serial killer colleagues to figure out how to get rid of a body with like looking at John Wayne Gacy or Sam, who apparently got rid of his. I was like, never heard of this guy. But I figured out he got rid of the body by using the dog. Like, oh look, it's dog food. Or with an egg Green, who apparently wore the skin of his mom. I probably wouldn't do that. If rule number 1 is don't get caught, I wouldn't suggest to see the ones who did get caught. But, but Dexter it is a little bit humorous of him going through serial killer past to find out how to, I don't know, what about, what about creating a hotel and, make it like a maze and all that? What about that? And then you could just, like, put some Sweeney Todd shit going on. I don't know. I think what's going to happen is Dexter's going to say, oh, I don't have a boat yet. But I'm going to dump the water into the ocean. I think it's safe to assume the next victim will be, I think it's safe to assume the next victim will be the person who the big reveal at the end of the episode. It's clear that's going to be happening. And that's when you'll have like the full Dexter stuff, like him getting the blood slide, cutting the side of the face, and and like the first victim in the blood slide collection. I think that's what's going to happen. But if there's a season 2, I am kind of curious, like, where's Matthews? I think that's what you do, right? Season 2, you do a bit of a gap, and that's when you probably introduce Dokes and Matthews and all those type of characters as well. Because that's a good question. A lot of people kids, where's Matthews? Where's Matthews? Where's Matthews? But I don't really think we're hitting the point where, like, Dexter is working for the police, but we're not at the point where I always thought we might hit that point, but I doubt we're hitting that point where Harry walks into Dexter, sees what he has made, and he kind of lives himself, and so Harry admits suicide. I don't think we'll hit that point. I thought we would, but I'm detracting my my comments over that, saying my theorizing for that. I don't think we're doing that. It just feels too early, and also the timeline, it doesn't really fit into the timeline. But yeah, anyway, if you're seeing episode 7, comment below, let me know your thoughts.